Hello, everyone. We are so happy to have you back to our Courageous Leadership with Virginia Prodan. It's a new day. It's a new opportunity for all of us to learn new things and to see God's hands in our lives and in the lives of many other people. I am Virginia Prodan. I'm an international human rights attorney, a speaker, a writer, and the host of Courageous Leadership with Virginia Prodan. And we have the honor and the privilege today to have as our host Gary Benoit. He is editor-in-chief of the New American, a publication affiliated to the John Birch Society. And he has been with this organization for a very long time, starting with his teenager years. And in fact, he became a member of its staff in 1977. He became the editor of the New American in 1986, and currently is the editor-chief from 2021. He graduated magna cum laude in physics from University of Massachusetts Lowell in 1976. We are so glad and honored to have you, Gary. We just want to I said in general a few things about you, but feel free to tell us how you started. It's amazing that you have been with the John Birch Society from 1968 and became a member of its staff in 1977. It's a long time.
It does seem like a very long time, but I wouldn't change it for the world. And first of all, Virginia, I am so delighted to be invited on your program. I really appreciate it. And of course, I know because you told me that you were born in Romania. And so you have experienced communism firsthand. And I'm sure have an understanding of the totalitarianism and what it's really all about, that somebody like myself and so many others who have been privileged to be born in a free country cannot possibly have the kind of perspective that you do. But the whole purpose of the John Birch Society is to wake the town and tell the people and get them involved regarding the threat to our freedoms. And I think one of the things that makes the John Birch Society so different than other organizations, not just that we've been around for a long time and warning about the threat to freedom for a long time, the fact that we have believed and have documented that freedom is attacked not just by happenstance. It's not just some kind of evolutionary thing where freedom is being eroded, but freedom is being attacked because of powerful people in high places who are really working to destroy freedom because they want to consolidate power into their own hands. They wanted to be the ones who call the shots and tell other people exactly what they can do or not do. And when we were delivering that message way back when, and this goes back before my involvement, as far back as it goes, but the John Birch Society was founded in 1958 by a man named Robert Welch. And so he was saying at that time that there is a conspiracy. He identified it as a communist conspiracy. Later on, he made the observation that there are people who are not necessarily themselves communists, people in the West who work with communism because they want to accomplish the same things that the communists want to accomplish, total and absolute control. And so when we were saying these things back in the 1960s and 1970s and so forth, a lot of people in Virginia scoffed at what we were saying because to them it sounded unbelievable. After all, the United States is an anti-communist country. It is supposedly against socialism. Why on earth would people in the United States cooperate with this conspiracy? But I would say, Virginia, nobody is laughing today. No one is scoffing today. At least very few people are, because it has become so obvious that there really is this plan. And I think a lot of people woke up, in particular, during the era of COVID, when they were told they could not go to church, they could not go to their jobs, they could not keep their businesses open. A lot of people realized at that time that, gee, maybe tyranny could take place in the United States as well.
That is so true what you said. And what amazes me is this, that many things that I had seen as a child in Romania, I see it now being applied, and people don't pay attention to that. Even people that, Christian people that went in communist or socialist countries, and they had seen their brother and sister suffering persecution, because there is a difference between being an American in a different country and
Yes.
treated as an American, and being here in America and seeing, that government turning against you. And on my side, I have to be careful, because I have to understand that American people never experience that, and be kind, but also tell the truth, no matter how painful it might be, to wake them up. But in
Yes.
the second time, for American people, I have to tell them, if you don't wake up now, you will wake up later, when you will think, well, I should have listened, or I should have done something different. Because you, and not only during COVID, but even right now, you see liberals, you see people in different parts of America, especially the liberal state, where they try so hard to replace the God of the universe with the government. And also, you have seen something else, I'm sure, that in your John Birch Society you talk about, or in the New American magazine you talk about. You see also the fact that some of the pastors are afraid to talk about the current issues and what God says about what is a family, what is a transgender, what is to be a citizen of this earth, or a citizen of the universe, of citizen of heaven, and so forth. That the fact that there is only one way to heaven, and the heaven has gates too, like
Yes.
every single country will have gates, because it forms a society. I know that some of the people maybe know, but some of the people might don't know. But I will just invite them to read my memoir, "Saving My Assassin." It was published by Tyndale House Publisher, and talks about my life in communist Romania as a lawyer, because I defended Christian and human rights cases, and I was arrested, tortured, put under house arrest. Government sent a client to my office who put a gun in my face, and by the grace of God, I was petrified. I thought that I'm gonna die there, and by the grace of God, I heard the Lord saying, "Share the gospel." And as I shared the gospel with my assassin, who pointed the gun at me, he put the gun down, his shoulders relaxed, and he accepted Christ right there in front of
Wow.
me. I never believed that in my wildest dreams. That's what God can do it. And later on, when I came to America, I learned English. President Ronald Reagan organized this. I came to America. I learned English. I went to law school again, and I opened my law firm. And one day, a new client came to my office, and I was 10 minutes late because of traffic in Dallas. And my assistant invited him in his office, in my office. And this client told me his case and everything. And I was thinking, I'm going to take his case. And when he finished, he looked at me and said, "Virginia, don't you recognize me?" And I said, "No." And he showed me his Securitate ID. I relived for 5-10 minutes the same feelings that I had in Romania when he had the gun in my face. And because my face was red, he started really loud to say, "I'm not here to kill anyone. I'm a pastor now." Because
Wow.
that's what
That's got to
God,
give you such a
yeah.
wonderful feeling to facilitate a conversion such as that on the part of somebody else.
Yes, the Lord allowed me to know that, and He wrote a chapter in my book because this
Wow.
is our God. We serve an amazing God, and there is no reason, to be afraid. And like you said, you promote and make aware Americans that freedom is what I call freedom is precious. Freedom is precious to those who don't have it. In particular, I believe that it's important for Americans to remember that we have freedom in Christ. It's our freedom is from
Right.
God, not from government. But I wanna know. Give us few examples of how the John Birch Society encourages Americans to keep the freedom that we have.
Well, I will get to that in just a moment, but I just want to go back to what you said, Virginia, when you said that rights come from God, not government, because
Yes.
that is a very profound statement. It's a statement that the John Birch Society says over and over again. And unfortunately, it's a statement that a lot of people do not understand because if we were to believe for a moment that rights come from government, then of course government could take away those rights. Government could do whatever it wants to, regarding those rights. But the United States government was founded on a very different principle. And you could say that the birth certificate for the US government actually goes back to the Declaration of Independence because certainly there was a connection between the Declaration of Independence and the US Constitution. And in the Declaration of Independence, it says that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so, what the John Birch Society envisions, as opposed to the proper form of government, is a government that recognizes that, a government that recognizes that rights come from God, not government, and that the purpose of our government is to protect those rights. So that's what the John Birch Society is all about. And the Constitution is in harmony with that, isn't it? Because the Constitution created the government large enough to protect our freedom, but not so large that the government can violate the freedoms that it's supposed to protect. So it limits the powers of the national government. It specifies those limited powers. It takes those limited powers and it divides it among the three branches of government: the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. And then all other powers of government are left to the states and to the people. In fact, every state has its own constitution. So that the states are not provinces. The states, in a sense, are their own governments, and the only powers they have given to the national government are those powers that were given to the national government by the Constitution. So that's what we're working toward. That's what we support, and what we oppose to this conspiracy that's trying to destroy freedom. But you asked how members, Virginia, go about doing what they do, and it's really based on information. It's based on education, because if the people are misinformed, if the people are ignorant, they can be easily beguiled into surrendering their birthright. They can be beguiled into surrendering their freedoms by the demagogues, by the politicians who say one thing and do another, or they deceive the people in some fashion. And a good example of that is what happened in Nazi Germany when the Nazis came to power in Germany. To do so, they actually were elected. They were elected into power, and enough of them were elected where they made Hitler chancellor, and then they took away the freedoms of the German people, and of course the rest is history. That happened because the German people were uninformed. So it is not sufficient simply to vote on election day. It is really important to understand the principles of freedom. It is important to understand that our freedoms are being threatened by a conspiracy that is operating in the dark, because obviously, if you ask anybody, do you support freedom? I think just about anybody would say yes. So we need to have this understanding. And so the John Birch Society works to create that understanding so that when people go into the voting booths, they will be able to make better decisions. And also so that good people, people who really support the Constitution, people who believe in freedom will be electable. They will be viable when they run for office because the people will be informed.
Yes, and along of that one to continue is one of the things that is very important for your society and for your magazine is the 14th Amendment.
Yes.
Uh, can you tell us about the 14th Amendment?
Absolutely, and I think the best way to do that, Virginia, would be just to read the first part of it regarding citizenship, and I have that in front of me. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. And I think that says it all because so often when people claim that the 14th Amendment gives an automatic right to become a citizen if you're born in the country, if that were the case, it simply would say all persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens of the United States, right? It does not say that. It says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. So those are very important words. So then you have to ask yourself, what does that mean? What does that clause mean? Well, first of all, it means that more is necessary than simply to be born in the United States, or that clause would have been left out. But what it means, jurisdiction in the full sense of the term, is lawful presence and adherence to U.S. laws. You know, somebody's on vacation, you come here on vacation, and you're pregnant, and you get here, and you have a child. That does not make that child a citizen of the United States. Obviously, it cannot do that because that person, that baby, is not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States in the full sense of the word. So,
In
I
fact,
mean, that to me is just perfectly common sense. But what the Supreme Court will do is another question.
yeah, that is true, but in the same time, we have to be aware that we have in California and several other liberal states, we have an industry now where Chinese people, and many of them from higher level in Communist Party, come to United States. They have a child, and the child is born, and they take back the child in China, and now you have an American citizen in China, not subject to the law of United States. You just change America
Right.
into something that was in the Constitution does not say that America is. So we have to be aware that people take advantage, and we hope that the Supreme Court will take those things into consideration, and the government will make it clear.
Yes.
If
Yeah,
it's
absolutely. But that is one good thing the Trump administration has done is
yes.
regard to that jurisdiction question to get rid of birthright citizenship. But Virginia, the example that you use regarding somebody coming from China, let's say a communist official coming from China, that of course is not happenstance. That is a deliberate policy on the part of the United States, as well as a deliberate policy on the part of China. And that shows you that the fix isn't at the top. And I've heard something like I think over 1 million altogether. Over time, because it's like an industry of China where they'll have their citizens come to the United States, have their babies here, and then bring the babies back to China, and that person is now a U.S. citizen. And of course, that's part of the plan to destroy the United States of America. And it's all part, too, of what has happened with immigration, both legal and illegal. Because Virginia, and you're a good example because you came to the United States and you came for the right reasons, and you came because you loved freedom and you wanted to be able to breathe the air of freedom. You wanted to be able to pull yourself up by the bootstraps to, to go in private practice and whatnot, and to accomplish all these things that free people are able to accomplish by working hard. And so many people over the years have come this way, come with that belief. And those people who really were in need, the penniless and so forth, they would be helped out by the church, by private charity and whatnot. But today we have a welfare magnet on the part of the federal government. Today we have people coming here for very different reasons. Today we have people who come here not to assimilate, but just the opposite. There's actually, I would say, a de facto policy of reverse assimilation. And that also, I would argue, Virginia, is part of the fix being in at the top. It's part of a policy to try to destroy the United States of America, to try to destroy our wonderful heritage of freedom by taking people who love freedom, by taking people who believe in the Western tradition and have an understanding of Western culture and whatnot, and to throw all that out the window and to replace it with a new constituency that can be very easily beguiled for the purpose of taking our United States of America and making it into another socialist communist dictatorship. And we can see that happening. And we can also see the vision, too, among people between new arrivals and Native Americans, between young and old, between people of different races and whatnot. And those things are being exploited also to try to create that division, to try to tear down our country and to build on its smoldering ruins this new socialist order that the conspirators for global control want to create.
You are so right about that. I remember when I came to United States of America, like I said, President Ronald Reagan organized. He was afraid that I would die in Romania, and he heard about the dictator sending a client to my office to kill me. And when I came to America, first of all, I came as a political refugee. President Ronald Reagan picked up the phone and talked with our dictator and said, I will give you the most favored nation status one more year with one condition, to let Virginia and her family to come to America today. The dictator said, oh, in a month, because if you read my book, Saving My Assassin, you find out he wanted to organize another way to kill me. But when I came to America as a political refugee, and I was invited at the White House and I met President Ronald Reagan, it was amazing to realize how much he knew, President Ronald Reagan, about communists and how to work with communists. And also, you're right that different organizations pay for my airline tickets and my family for rent for a period of time. But by the law at that time, I pay back to those organizations because they wanted to have those money to help other group. It was normal, and I work until I learn English. I work in daycare and other places. Work was not a shame because I was a lawyer in Romania. It was part of. I was the child of God, not a lawyer or a person in daycare, according to the work I have done. But now you are saying, not only that, I raised 3 kids as a single mom, and my first daughter graduated from SMU like me, my first daughter from Harvard Law School, and my son from United States Air Force Academy. Because
Wow.
when you recognize and you are grateful for the opportunity that America is giving you, and you work hard with God's help, you can do amazing things in this country. So not everything is possible with God. So but today we have everybody who comes to America, illegal, especially illegal people, they are on welfare, they have iPhones, they have nice clothes, they
Yes.
receive everything, and they don't do anything. And not only that they want to be assimilated, but they want to change this country. Something is wrong, and you write about that. Our leaders are promoting them, and our leader wants to transform them into their supporters.
Yes.
That's
And
the
so,
only
right.
reason.
Right.
So
So the whole
we
purpose of the John Birch Society again is to expose that conspiracy and Let me give you another example, and that would be the United Nations, because the John Birch Society, going right back to the beginning, going right back to its founding in 1958, recognized that the United Nations was not mankind's last best hope for peace. And that is how it was portrayed by the media at the time. But right at the beginning, Robert Welch, the founder of the Birch Society, said that the purpose of the United Nations was to become a world government. And of course, it would be a communist socialist world government. So we've been blowing the whistle on the United Nations all along. And that was another thing where people would scoff and say, well, that's ridiculous. Is it not mankind's last best hope for peace? And once again, a few people are scoffing today because it's become so obvious the game plan. And the game plan is more and more government leading to total government, and more internationalism leading to world government. And the United Nations is an integral part of that. So we've had over the years a major campaign to get the United States out of the United Nations. And that's something that could actually happen very realistically in the not too distant future. People
Yes.
do not have the favorable attitudes toward the United Nations that they once did. And the John Birch Society's campaign is a good part of that.
Yes, I am so glad you do that, because I have to tell you, when I was in communist Romania, under the, surrounded by the Berlin Wall and not having any opportunity to hear anything about the Western civilization. Later on, when I came to United States of America, and I was invited at the White House, President Ronald Reagan told me that United Nations had reports on my cases defending Christian in Romania and United States Department of States. And because of that, the whole world knew about what the dictator was doing in Romania. It was God who has done this, not me.
Yes.
But he exposed this. And many times I look at the United Nations today and I'm thinking, if United Nations many years ago when I was in Romania would have been like what is today, I would have been dead in Romania under unmarked grave there. In United Nations, it's so much change, but also America has changed, and your work,
Right.
and I will continue to speak about freedom and show people, because sometimes it's so amazing and transforming for people, because I'm under 5 feet tall, and when I go and speak and people see me, they realize you don't have to be big, you don't have to have
Right.
everything, you have to have a big God and a trust in God. And many of them have a different attitude, and they start trusting God and staying on the freedom that he gave
Right.
us.
I agree completely. And I do believe that, as creatures of God, and of course, we have eternal souls, and we have the gift of salvation. We just need to do what we need to do to achieve that. But we all have that gift, and we know that Jesus died on the cross for all of our sins. But we have a responsibility, I believe, to do the best we can to follow God's laws, to do our duty as best we can, our duty for God, our duty for family, and our duty for country. And those are the three great human loyalties: God, family, and country. We do those things. We don't know for sure what's going to happen, but the results are up to God. But our responsibility is to do those things, and it is God that who performs the miracle.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in Acts 1, Christ said to his disciples and to us,
Hmm.
you will receive the power when the Holy Spirit comes above you, and you will be my witness. It's clear. We have the
Sure.
power in Jesus Christ, even when we don't feel that. But when we walk with Him, we walk in victory, and we have a reason. We are here to be witness, and we respect everyone. But when the government takes a position and wants us to betray God, we have to stay like the three, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and say we don't need to defend ourselves, even if God does not save us, we will remain with God and we bow down to you. And then the whole, not only the king, but others will see the power of God. That's the reason. But before we finish, let me ask you, where can you share with our audience where they can find you? And
Well, be very glad to do so. And I'll give you two websites. One is jbs.org. So that's JBS for John Birch Society.org. And the other is the newamericanmagazine.com. And of course, if you go to one, you'll find the other, but thenewamerican.com, as you mentioned, that's affiliated with the John Birch Society, and I'm the editor-in-chief for that publication. So either website would be fine, and so appreciate, Virginia, the opportunity to let people know about those websites, and we encourage people to go there, become subscribers, perhaps become members of the John Birch Society as well, and become involved in the freedom fight, because the John Birch Society does believe that in order to save our freedoms, we cannot rely on the politicians. We cannot rely on any particular person. We got to do it ourselves, and we got to do it in living rooms, in meeting halls throughout the United States of America. And that is why the John Birch Society is organized in chapters all across the country to wake the town, tell the people, and get them involved so that we can expose this conspiracy and bring about sound government once again.
Thank you so very much, Gary, for sharing with us everything about how important our freedom is, and those two websites. I hope people will go and subscribe to your website. And I hope you return to our Courageous Leadership with Virginia Prodan. We have it every Wednesday and Saturday at 10 o'clock. We'll be happy to help you. You can go to virginiaprodanbooks.com/contact, and you can put your question, your concern, whatever you want. We are here to help you and encourage you to stand up for freedom. We have been set free to live free in Jesus Christ. Until next time, I hope you will go to Gary's website. You will think about everything that Gary shared with us, and I share with you how important freedom is, and the fact that he underlined several times that freedom is not to wait for the government or for our leaders in school or government, but freedom is what our responsibility too. Until next time, I hope to hear from you, and God bless you. Bye-bye.